I'm building a circuit. Please come to Tokyo. Soichiro Honda. This simple telegram, received by John Hugenholtz in 1961, initiated the inception of an all-time classic racetrack, Suzuka International Circuit, a layout which tests Grand Prix machines and drivers to their limit. Today, these elite sim racers will take on the same challenge. Welcome to the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series, live here on the Global SimRacing Channel. I'm Peter Mackay, and I'm delighted to be joined in the booth by GSRC's own flying Finn, Ozian Huaka. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Ambrose using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Now, the Suzuka circuit is certainly a challenge for drivers, so let's have a look at our GSRC track guide to see what the right way around is.
Welcome to Suzuka Circuit, perhaps most famous for its hosting of the Formula One Japanese Grand Prix for much of the event's history. This track sees all sorts of racing besides that. In fact, this place began as a test track for Honda, but later proved to be a driver and fan favorite for competitive motorsports as well. The full layout of the Grand Prix course steals the show, but there's actually 5 different versions that can be run on iRacing. With their lap lengths ranging from just over 2 kilometers to nearly 6 kilometers, plenty of different types of cars can suit the track. GT racing and lower-level open-wheelers are quite popular, but motorcycles are also a staple here. Some of the corners have become world-renowned over the years. The S's are often cited as one of the great tests of a driver's technical prowess. Then, of course, there's Degner's 1 and 2, which provide very little runoff considering their fast and narrow entry. Later on, the long backstretch leads up to the notorious 130R, which is blindingly fast. The Casio Triangle offers one last chance at an overtake if you're brave, but has been the scene of many drivers clattering into one another over the years. F1 fans will be quick to cite the infamous coming together here between Senna and Prost. However, real-life visitors will find it's more than the racing that provides some viewing pleasures. The unique ways in which the Japanese fans celebrate their favorite cars and drivers certainly capture your attention. But it's no wonder they're such fanatics, because who wouldn't be with one of the world's greatest tracks right in your backyard?
So there you are then. That is the right way around the Suzuka International Raceway. Now let's have a little look at the finer details of this amazing circuit. Lap length, just 3.609 miles, which goes by in a flash here at Suzuka. 17 turns, and as you can see, actually a figure of 8, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as the race broadcast goes on. But without further ado, allows me to introduce my my Finnish colleague, Ossian Puaka. Ossian, tell us a little bit about the race details for today and what we can expect.
Well, thank you, Peter. As kind as always. 23 laps will be racing out here today. We got open setups and 35 cars. So we got about 40 minutes of racing ahead of us. We got an incident cap. Penalties for every 17 incidents, so that's a drive-through, and disqualification at 25 incidents. However, we'll not be expecting drivers to really hit that very soon. So summa summarum, open setups, 8 minutes of qualifying, 2 laps, 2 fast laps, 23 laps of racing, and may the best man win.
As simple as that. And of course, here at Suzuka, the downforce of these cars is incredible, and that's something you need in their droves here at the Suzuka International Circuit. The drivers out right now setting their qualifying times, but this is the final round of the Lotus 79 Grand Prix Series for this season. Ozzy, how are the championship standings looking?
Wow, that's a loaded question. That's a loaded question, man. So the championship standings, we have Gernot Fritzsche in the lead, just 2 points ahead of Tamas Shimon. Alex Milward rounding out your top 3. He would have a chance for the lead if not for a couple of bad results. Teemu Vaskilampi in the 4th place, and Oskari Rinne, who came in only halfway through the season, rounding out your top 5 with a couple of amazing performances. And we also have a team championship. Peter, wouldn't you tell us about that one?
Well, it's Parmalat Racing Team in ahead with 389 points, ahead of Candy Team Tyrrell, 18 points further back. Team Essex Lotus are 61 points further backs. Albalad Williams Racing are in 4th, and my favourite, the Brewery Team, Warsteiner Arrows Racing Team, in 5th. So our drivers out right now setting their qualifying times, and this is where that slight brave pill needs to be taken here, Ozzy. This track has so many fast corners where you have to really lean out further than you think and really trust the aerodynamics. Of course, these Lotus 79s have ground effect aerodynamics, and sometimes feels like they're glued to the track, and that That aerodynamic grip is so important around here.
It is, and it's really a masterful game of strategy and tactics with the downforce levels. As you can see, Gernot Fritsch taking the last chicane, Casio Triangle very slowly, starting his first flying lap here. So it's all about balance. You want a lot of wing, especially for this first sector, which is where you're coming here, the SS section, and then you come through the fast left-hander Dunlop corner, Deckner corner as well. But you also want straight line top speed. You're not gonna pass anyone without it. Once you come through 200R, once you come through the back straight, through 130R as well, which is flat out with these cars, you're gonna want a lot of top speed as well. So it's a game of balancing acts, and I think a lot of the drivers will have a separate qualifying setup just for this purpose. A little bit more wing in qualifying, a little bit less wing for the race conditions. Let's see if Gernot is one of those drivers, as he's really taking it to the limit on his first lap.
He certainly is. Gernot Fritsch, many times champion of the Lotus 79 Grand Prix Series, and he's made a great recovery over the last couple of rounds to get back up into the lead of the championship. And we saw him interestingly there, Ozzy, going very, very slowly on his outlap and then gunning it out of the final corner, out of the Casio Triangle. So interesting approach, perhaps just bringing in the tires into heat gently.
Yeah, I think that's it. And you also want to maximize your run off the final chicane, which is not as easy as it sounds. It's surprisingly technical for a simple right-left chicane. I'm gonna explain it once they come here. So 130R, you're gonna want to approach on the left-hand side, of course, into the optimal racing line. You wanna cut it just slightly on the first part, maximize the braking zone, then get on the throttle here. And this right-hander, as you come to the main straight, it's flat out if you get it right, but sometimes you have to lift just a little bit because you feel the loss of grip there. And Gernot Fritsch there matching Oscar de Linde's time, only 12 milliseconds off Tomas Simon. Wow.
That is incredibly fast. 1 minute 48.0. If you're watching for the first time here in the Lotus 79 series, welcome. It's as you're probably imagining right now, the lap times, if you're familiar with this car and this track, these are incredibly fast lap times, and just a testament to the quality of drivers. Some of the very highest rated drivers on the iRacing service compete in this series, and well, some of the lap times show that. And Thomas Simone, well, it's all going to come down to between him and Gernot Fritsch for the championship, and he's gone exactly where he needs to go. The first guy underneath the 1 minute 48 barrier. That is seriously quick.
Yeah, it is. Tomas didn't come here to joke around. Tomas came here to fight, and he's gonna certainly want that championship. And we are here watching Severi Seppä, meanwhile, coming around the final chicane. Only 14th right now. Let's see if he can improve on his second lap.
Yeah, let's see what Severi Seppä can do. Let's get him over the line. Lovely blue and white paint scheme. 148.9. That's only still going to be good enough for 14th spot. So let's see how Vimal Andaharaman gets over. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. I very unlikely haven't, but he's 16th. Let's go to Gernot Fritsch then. His second flying lap here. He had a good first flying lap, 1 minute 48.0. Never know, he could go quicker again here in his Essex Team Lotus. The Austrian, we know how quick he is. Out of the last curve he goes. Back on the power, opening up all that power from that Cosworth DFB engine. And 148.2, so does not improve then, Ozzy.
No, he didn't improve on his second lap, so he used all those tires on the first one. Let's see what Martin Gramberg can do. I'm really interested about him because he's currently sitting in 10th place and he's coming to the final corner. Let's get Sean Van Dorn out of our way first, and then report Martin Gramberg's lap time for you, 148.5 for the Swede. So he's only 4 milliseconds out of Micro Siemens, and yeah, Gramberg did not improve sadly on his second lap.
So this is fascinating. Most of the drivers setting their fastest lap on the first outing, and that gives you an idea just how the tires work with this particular car. So let's see how they grid up then for this race, this season finale here at Suzuka. Thomas Simone then, your pole sitter, ahead of Oskari Rinne. On row 2 is Gernot Fritsch, the championship contender, alongside Matteo Ugolotti. On row 3 will be Steve Bycroft and Teemu Vaskilampi. Row 4, Alex Millward and Wambi Costa. Row 5 is Mike Razimus and Martin Granberg in 10th, Aussie.
Eetu Vainiokangas gonna be starting 11th place. Hope he can continue his consistent results. Frick Den Kare only 12th. He's usually better qualifier than that podium last week. Peter Konieczny 13th. Severi Seppä 14th with Pauli Partanen and Vimal Anandharaman in row number 8. Row number 9 gonna go to Paul Williams and Carl Villeneuve, and row 10 Andrew Dixon and our friend Barry West.
In 21st is Michael de Turk alongside Daryl Freckleton. 23rd will be Timothy Reed alongside Pablo Suarez. Row 13 will be Robert Simpkins and Derek Roelveld. Row 14, Cristiano Coronari and Keith Herner. Steve Sarlis and Dmitry Bobilev will run off on row 15, and that is our 30 runners for this race here at Suzuka. In row 16, my apologies, we've got a few more. John Van Dorn, David Brandberg, Edmund Blackadder, Tony Teolis and Thomas Delmuth round out 35 runners, so a packed grid here in the Lotus 79 Grand Prix Series. We wait for the lights to come up and we will be ready to go. A packed grid of Lotus 79 machines. Here we go then, lights are up and we are go here in Japan for the season finale of the Lotus 79 Sunday Series, and it's a good start so far. Gernot Fritsch, he's there in the middle and they get through into turn 1, always danger going into here, but Thomas Simone gets a brilliant start and gets about 3 or 4 car lengths coming out of the first corner.
He does. Ugolotti, amazing start as well from 4th place. Gonna be second, just ahead of Gernot Fritsch. Vaskilampi rising to 4th place as well. Juanmi Costa, Steve Bycroft, they're snaking their way through. Millward is side by side with Mike Rasimas at the moment, coming into Dunlop corner, and Millward gonna make his way through Rasimas as well as Severi Seppä. Gonna be side by side in the Degner corner. This is gonna be interesting. Seppä goes around the outside.
Wow, round the outside at the Degner corner, that is certainly a gutsy move, that's for sure. They head towards the hairpin, round they go, very, very tight here, and getting it back on the power and back up to 200 hour. There's a good opportunity for an overtaking manoeuvre there. We see a few drivers jostling for position there as they head up towards Spoon Curve for the very first time.
Yeah, so one guy who screwed up his start completely, that's Oskar Rinne. He's all the way down in 10th place. He just didn't get the power down, and he's behind Bycroft and Costa and everybody else. So if you're wondering where that Parmalat racing machine number 11 is, who started in the front row, he's all the way to the middle of the pack.
So this is fascinating for the championship here. We've got Thomas Simone. Like you said, he is not messing about, Aussie. He is up from pole position, leading very, very strongly. Gernot Fritsch, he's behind Matteo Ugolotti. He'll want to get past the Italian in quick order because Thomas Simone is just breaking away. I've got a car off in the background there. I think that's maybe one of the Warsteiner cars. I was sorry, my eyesight deceiving me there, but there was a car off. Who was that? Wambi Costa, we think, is gone off at the final corner at Casio Triangle. What a disaster for Wambi Costa.
Yeah, so Juanmi Costa going out already on lap number 1, and that's not the kind of thing you want to do, of course, at the end of the first lap. He's back out there on the track top, 22nd position for Juanmi.
Yeah, an interesting mistake because these cars, the tyres come up to temperature quite quickly. In fact, he's almost got to be careful not to overheat them. So much so is the downforce that goes through this car. Of course, got its above ground aerodynamics, but also the aerodynamic side skirts, which are such a development at the time. So we look back at the battle for P5. Teemu Vaskilampi there in the Parmalat Brabham machine with also Steve Bycroft and Oskari Rinne in there as well. So there's a Parmalat sandwich, but Parmalat actually a dairy company. They make yogurt.
Yeah, so that's a surprise for me because when I first started, I thought they were an oil company. I honestly thought they were an oil company for the longest time, but there you go. And so the two Milky Finns are gonna be then sandwiching Steve Bycroft, and that means it's a Steve Bycroft sandwich, not a Finn sandwich. Because no sandwich is named after the bun. And I hate when people do that. Sorry, going on.
I tell you what, you need to follow me around, Ozzy, because I make so many mistakes that you're always there to correct them, and it's so useful. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no worries. I won't be there in the wedding night, so don't
Well, you'll have to give me pointers
working on the
beforehand.
technique.
Oh dear. Thomas Simone sets the fastest lap of the race, thank God. 149.365. He is off like a shot, but for Gernot Fritsch, he's back in third position, half a second behind Ugo Lotti now, and that is not where he needs to be. This is perfect for Thomas Simone.
It is, but behind him we got a fast Italian driver now. Those of you who do follow the Lotus 79 Sunday Grand Prix Series, the Classic Team Championship, you're not gonna be familiar with the name of Matteo Ugolotti. That's because he doesn't really race this series that often. He's here right now, and last year, 2019, he was racing in the GD iRacing World Championship, the VRS GD iRacing World Championship. So he was competing at the black stripe level, best position 12th with the Apex Racing team alongside Michel Constantini and Michel Ricci. So he's got World Championship experience. He's a former black stripe, and he's showing that experience out here today.
That is an accolade that iRacing do not hand out lightly to be a World Championship level driver. So, 3 laps down then, can Ugo Lotti then use those credentials to get up to Thomas Simone? That's certainly not what Thomas will want, but it will be what Gernot Fritsch wants. But I just have this suspicion, Ozzy, that Gernot Fritsch, he's the wild old fox, isn't he? He'll have something up his sleeve. I suspect he'll just be keeping his powder dry. I'm sure he has a plan.
Yeah, so Der Alte, the old fox, Gernot Fritsch. Let's see what he can do. He's right now just following around. I'm not seeing him being too much faster than Ugolotti or too much faster than Tomasz, but I think he's calm with the current situation because he knows that, okay, if I can't go any faster right now, I'm just gonna keep it consistent, keep close to these guys, and be right here when they make a mistake, and that's consistent pressure. We still got 19 laps to go in this race, mind you, so it's he's not exactly in a hurry. And one guy who is in a hurry is behind him. That's Oscar Rinne. He is closer and closer to Bycroft. We're gonna probably see a round 2 of Summit Point here maybe, with Bycroft this time not leading, with Rinne second. Rinne going 4-wheel sliding off the Dunlop corner. That's incredible. And he's just putting the pressure on. He knows that he deserves to be a lot higher if he hadn't screwed up that start. So right now, he's got really a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, Oscar Rinne showing some very traditional Finnish oversteer there. That's exactly what we want to see. We like cars getting a little bit of opposite lock-on, and these Lotus 79s, they do break out and slide. You can hold them in a slide from time to time, and particularly here at Suzuka, where you're just getting to the limit of grip, they are a wonderful machine to drive. If you're watching and you've never driven one of these cars, or if you've never driven this car on this circuit, I urge you to do so. It is an absolute joy of a combination, as we see Oskari Rinne now really looking to get past Steve Bycroft, but getting past here, not so easy, and it's allowing Pascal Lampe to escape a little bit. He's sort of basically bridging the two gaps, the two groups at the front.
Yeah, so you can see the difficulties here. Rinne going for a very late braking move. Senna and Prost, and this time they do not come together on the first part. They do come together on the second part, but Rinne powering through and giving a little bit of a wiggle off his rear as well. Wow.
We are back to 1989 with Senna versus Prost, but instead of McLarens, we've got Lotuses going for that. What a brilliant battle here. Oskari Rinne, Steve Bycroft thinks about shutting the door, but does not, and Oskari Rinne is through and heads off in hot pursuit of his teammates. And now remember, the Parmalat team leading the championship in the team, so 2 cars up there right now. They're looking very strong for that team's championship, was it?
Yeah, it's gonna be good for those guys. Meanwhile, further back on the 8th place, we got a Crane, Martin Gromberg, Severi Seppa, Mike Rasimas, Eetu Vainiokangas all in there. Eetu a little bit further back. You can see Gromberg going a little bit wide on the Dunlop corner. That's gonna allow Severi Seppa to come a little bit closer on the Deckner corners, Deckner 1 and then Deckner 2, some of my favorite corners in the world. And you're gonna have to be really careful through those. with the Lotus 79 machine, especially Deckner 2, because you can't run too wide. You're gonna get those ground effects, those skirts stuck on the curbs. You can beach your car so easily, or not beach, but you can hit the ground off, and you can just slide wide in a shower of sparks, not skirts. I wish I had a shower of skirts. That would be great. Go on.
Well, one could only dream, Ozzy, that's for sure. Maybe one day, buddy. Of course, the Degner corner, a really challenging two-part corner named after Ernst Degner, who actually defected from East Germany to sell two-stroke motorbike racing secrets to the Suzuki factory, who then used those to go out and create the two-stroke motorcycle racing revolution. So much history here at the Suzuka International Circuit, of course, owned by Honda, built by Honda back in the 1960s to really have their own world-class facility. And what a place it is. Of course, host to the famous Suzuka 8-hour motorcycle race as well.
Yeah, no GP2 engines with these cars though. It's pure Cosworth DFV V8s, and once again Gromberg, Seppa, Rasima's coming very close. Rasima's getting a little bit wiggly in turn number 1. Seppa coming closer and closer. Once again, his straight line speed, not his greatest strength it seems, and that means he's right up there in the corners. But on the straight line, he needs to get a little bit closer to have a chance.
Yeah, that was that compromise you were talking about, Ozzy. Just, you know, if you've got that speed in the corners, you do need the track position to deploy it fully. It's no use if there's a car parked on the apex in front of you and then they can just drive away. It can be really frustrating, but that's what's so intriguing about these types of series. You see a lot of series on iRacing are a fixed setup where every driver is given an identical setup to even the playing field. But I have to say, I do like the open setup races, certainly to commentate on, Ozzy, because it does give those little intriguing subplots, you know, who's got the car trimmed out, who's got more downforce in, and with that sort of plays out over the course of the race.
Yeah, so that's one of those things that really are gonna play out into this battle as well. Matteo Ugolotti, Gernot Fritsch, which one of them has more speed? Now you can see Ugolotti is starting to sadly lose a bit of ground to Tamás Simon, and that's gonna mean Gernot is gonna be in a bit of a haste to get by, as he can see that Ugolotti is not quite at the pace that our race leader is. That means Gernot wants to get by as soon as possible to continue his hunt on the Drivers' Championship. Of course, Gernot is one of those guys who should know what kind of top speed he wants, what kind of a top speed he should have his car set up with. And I'll tell you, he's a little bit faster on a straight line than Matteo at the moment, with credit to the draft, but with credit to his wings as well. Just a couple of k's an hour, about 4 or 5 miles an hour faster on the main straight. So that means if he gets a good run out of the spoon corner onto the back straight, Gernot should be flying by like a bad car.
Yeah, this is really interesting. I tell you what, I'd love to get a hold of Gernot Fritsch's setup book. I bet he's got a book full of setups for this particular car. It would be so nice to have. Mm-hmm.
Actually, he shares it with the Lotus 79 community.
Wow, well, what a guy.
Yeah, he's done it for years, and I think that's the ultimate power move. He's such a nice guy. He's always there to help you, but I think that's the ultimate power move. That's like, okay, here's my setup, here's my dogs. Come up here and try and beat me. Go ahead, I dare ya.
And only few have, that's for sure. So this is really interesting battle here between Matteo Ugolotti and Gernot Fritsch. But interestingly, they're both lapping pretty much the same, 1 minute 50.3 or so. Tamás Simon, though, is about a tenth or two a lap quicker. And look at that, he's opened up to over 2 seconds of a gap from Ugolotti. So if or when Fritsch does get by, he's got quite a bit of work to do, as we're not far off 1/3 distance already, Ozzy.
Yeah, so the Gernot's problem right now is that he can't get by Ugolotti. He can't flow in close enough through those fast corners because of the dirty air to wash. That's gonna make him understeer a little bit wide, and that means he can't get the run onto the long straight, so he can't get by Ugolotti. I think he would have a little bit more pace right now, but he just can't find himself the opportunity just yet, so he's stuck doing the pace that Ugolotti is doing. And behind them, Oskar Linne has claimed the 4th place away from Teemu Vaskilampi, so that's a switch of positions for the Parmalat guys. And soon, if Gernot can't get himself moving, they're gonna have someone else for company, and that's a 22-year-old Finnish student who has proven himself to be quite a rapid guy in the last couple of weeks.
Well, I tell you what, he is that last time around, 0.6 of a second quicker than Gernot Fritsch. Oh, Ugalotti's off! Ugalotti's off, he's in the grass! Wow, that was a big moment, and Gernot Fritsch gets by. That could be a pivotal moment in this motor race. Wow, Ugalotti didn't even lose that much time. That was a huge moment. I really don't know how he kept that one out the wall, Ozzy.
With luck, because he went... with luck and skill, of course, fast reactions as well. He didn't panic. He knew what happened. That's exactly what happened to him. Was exactly what I was talking about. The risk there. Go too wide on Deckner number 2, and you're gonna hit the curb. You're gonna ground out on the curb. You're gonna get sparks flying, as we are on board with Oskari Rinne, and you're gonna get sparks flying. And he just went. Thanks to the remaster weekend, he paid homage to the Tony Hawk remaster weekend and went Tony Gardner pro skateboarding there.
He did. He was nearly along the rail, which wouldn't have been so good. So, riding on board with Oskari Rinne, the fastest guy on track right now. He's actually lapping quicker than Thomas Simon. He's right in the draft of Ugalotti now. Will he make a move? This is a big move if it is. Into turn 1 he goes. Gonna go 3 wide in there. Oh, it's tight. It's tight. Gernot Fritsch goes wide. He's on the grass, and that is like ice out there, but he just about holds it down. Oh, this is so close. That's a disaster for Gernot Fritsch. What a costly error. That is music to Thomas Simon's ears. Now 3.6 seconds ahead of Ugalotti in second, and Fritsch, he's down to 4th. This could cost him the championship.
It could, and that was Ugalotti putting it down to the inside, doing nothing wrong, but putting the pressure on Gernot. And Gernot didn't know the driver. He didn't know how aggressive Ugalotti was going to be. He just knew that, okay, he's right up there, he's right up close. Is he gonna send it down the inside? He left him room. And I think that was the mistake from Gernot. You shouldn't leave somebody room if they're not alongside. And he went wide as a result of that. And Oskari Rinne, seeing his chance, biding his time behind, and just powering through Gernot Fritsch, who's a little bit further back. And now it's going to be between Ugalotti and Oskari Rinne, because look at Oskari, he's right up there. He wants that second place.
Yeah, Oskari, I think he's proven that he has got really good pace. My word, 1 minute 49.4 on that last lap, the fastest of anyone. In fact, 4/10 of a second quicker than Thomas Simon, so he's in the draft now. Ugalotti has definitely got his car trimmed out well. Down towards the Casio Triangle, Ugalotti goes to the inside, hard on the brakes from the Italian. Can Rinne get by? Is it a bit of contact or just the curbs? I'm not sure. But Ugalotti just about survives. Rinne gets hard on the gas, little bit of a wiggle into the draft. They weave all over the place. Gernot Fritsch is watching this going, oh my goodness me. Here comes, an incident. Ugalotti goes to the inside. He makes Oskari move over into turn 1. They go then, and Ugalotti, well, he is making that Lotus 79 wide as you like. And they head into the relatively one-line S's.
Yeah, so he's placing his car great. His defensive capabilities are unbelievable. And just you can see it here, placing his car in the right place, blocking off that inside line, doesn't do anything unnecessary, and he's great on the brakes. Now, that is a receipt for a tough night for Oskari Rinne, who we can see is a little bit faster. Quite a bit faster, as a matter of fact, but he can't find a way through. So I think he's gonna have to surprise Matteo, maybe into the hairpin here, to the outside, then a good exit, 200R. Let's see if he can pull it off. No, not quite good enough of an exit, sadly, for Oskari. So he was stuck on the outside line once again. Into the spoon take come. Look at him just coming through on a straight line, but Matteo closing off that inside. I think Oskari is gonna have to fool him to get by or do something exceptional. Like that.
Oh, my teeth just got very, very dry indeed. My word. Ugalotti defending with all he's got, but finally Oskari Rinne gets by. Just a little wiggle on the power from Ugalotti, but he's not given up yet as the Italian. He goes to go round the outside at 130R. Has he make it stick? This is going to be huge. Oh, he just goes wide, but he might have the inside late on the brakes. There's Ugalotti. This is incredible stuff. Oskari Rinna just about gets it done. Now, can the Finn escape? This is incredible.
He needs to get ahead into the SS. They made a little bit of contact through 130R, little bit of ghost contact, neither of them, however, going too badly out of the track. They are still side by side, heading into turn number 1. Ugolotti on the outside, Rinne on the inside, Ugolotti powering through on the braking. Rinne braking very late into the second part, but that's not late enough, and that's gonna be Ugolotti back into the second place. Oskari Rinne in P number 3, Gernot Fritsche in 4th place, just now taking distance, watching back and thinking, these young guys are crazy, come on, give me minus 15 years and I'll be right there.
Wow, this is what the Lotus 79 Grand Prix Series is all about, folks. Fantastic racing, the best sim racers in the world in one of the finest cars ever made. And tell you what, Ozzy, why would you watch Formula One when you could watch this fantastic overtaking maneuvers? Brilliant respect from both drivers. There's been no dirty business at all. This has been really exciting as, Oskari Rinne just gets a little nudge there. Wow, this is fantastic. Ugolotti keeping him behind. Somehow, Oskari Rinne has so much more pace in that car, but Ugolotti is not letting him go.
Ugolotti's got the straight line speed advantage, that's why he's not letting him go. So Ugolotti, he's faster on a straight line. You could see him a couple of times in that last battle. That allows Ugolotti some options, especially in the draft, because he knows that even if he's behind Oskari coming out of the previous corner, he's gonna get by. Now what's Oskari gonna do here? Is he gonna put it into 130R? I don't think he is. He's gonna wait it into the Casio triangle. Gonna go it around the outside. Later on the brakes maybe. He knows how good Ugolotti is through there. He is good as well. He's still alongside, but not close enough, so he's just not being aggressive enough just yet, but also not finding a chance. It's very difficult for Oskari to find that proper chance. He's gonna do it round the outside, I think. We saw him go around the outside at Spoon. I haven't seen many people do that. I certainly could never pull that off, not even in my active days. So Oskari already, and he had a little bit of contact with Ugolotti, little bit of a push to pass maybe, round the outside, into the SS they come. Are they gonna leave room? No, Ugolotti sliding his car ahead, and that's gonna give a little bit of damage to both cars, but nothing substantial yet. And look at this train they now got behind them. They got Fritsche, they got Vaskilampi, they got Bikeroth for company.
Yeah, and of course, remember Fritsche and Vaskilampi had a fantastic battle together all the way back at VIR a couple of months ago, which was an absolute thriller, and so is this. It seems to me, Ozzy, that you're right. Ugolotti has better straight line speed. He's clearly got that car in a little bit of a lower downforce trim, and he seems to just be being able to slide it around, so he's almost surviving through the S's and then using that straight line speed, that lack of downforce, and that therefore lack of drag to get that straight line speed advantage. But he's doing really well to hang on to it through the high downforce sections.
Yeah, he is, and he's got pace through there as well, but not as much as Oskari. Now, you saw at the exit of the hairpin something quite curious. Ugolotti slid a little bit. He went a little bit sideways on the exit, and that blocked Oskari's exit. And Oskari was really banking on the exit of the hairpin as well, so he lost a bit of time as he had to brake. Because there was a car suddenly in front of him. Now here comes Oskari to the inside, 130R. You're not gonna pull this off, Oskari. Ugolotti went round the outside, Oskari went to the inside. They're still side by side and coming very close at the braking, and that's the contact. That's the contact. Oskari went 270. Gernot involved in that one as well. Ugolotti going to the exit of the track. That's gonna be Vaskilampi inheriting the second place. That's gonna be Ugolotti third, Oskari fourth, Steve Bikeroth fifth, Neil Ward, and Gernot is all the way down into the 7th or 8th place. And that's going to be a replay.
Drama here at Suzuka. It is, how many times have we seen that Casio triangle? There's always action there. Like you say, getting that move done at 130R, he doesn't quite get it done. They go side by side. Amazing respect up to this point. Ugolotti, I think, squeezed him there, to be quite honest. I don't know if he was going to make the corner either. And what a pity, Ozzy, because that was just non-stop action, and a little bit of a shame it ended up in that way.
Yeah, so they just squeezed each other a little bit. Well, Ugolotti came to the left. He should have left Oskari a little bit more room. Oskari coming on a straight line. They came side by side. I don't think Ugolotti was really respecting Oskari being alongside there. I think he was thinking Oskari doesn't have a chance on the outside. Maybe he thought he had a racing line, and that's why he took the room away, but you can't really do that when somebody's alongside you. And as a result of that, they came together, and now Teemu's in second place, Matteo is in third, and Gernot and Oskari have dropped back from this train with Oskari Rinne now under attack from Mike Rasimas for the 7th place.
Oscar Iruna all the way back now in 8th spot, and it looks like he is nursing a lot of damage there. It was a big impact there at the Casio Triangle. And do you know, Ozzy, I was just about to say before that incident happened that this is, you see a big wiggle there. I think he's got huge steering damage there. I think has Oscar Iruna. What a pity. He definitely had the fastest race car out there today, and he's clearly struggling. A little bit of wiggle. Let's see how he gets on through 130R. If there's any problem, this will show it. That's for sure. An incredibly quick corner. No, it looks okay. But yeah, definitely falling down the order now to 10th. And could drop out the top 10 now as well. What a pity. Oskari Rinne had it. But I was just going to say, before that particular incident, well, as we see Oskari Rinne come into pit lane, he's decided to throw in the towel. But for Thomas Simon, all of that battling was just allowing Thomas Simon to escape, and now has a 14-second advantage from Ugolotti, and well, all those cars in that train really have some sort of damage, so Thomas Simon can now cruise to this championship win.
Yeah, so, and meanwhile, Ugolotti on pictures getting by Teemu Vaskilampi on a straight line because Teemu has a bit of damage on his rear, and Ugolotti just running away. Bycroft is gonna be the next contender for that position. Milward involved in that one as well. Gernot sadly dropping a little bit further back. However, Gernot's damage doesn't actually look that bad, so I want to see the lap times for Gernot Fritze and Werther gonna develop off that one. Surely he has some damage, but how much is gonna be a really good question. Ugolotti now back in his place, the place he defended so valiantly and for so long, and he went harder and harder in there, and yeah, that was the kind of battle that was never going to be a flame that lasts long. It was more like an outburst, an inferno until the house burned down.
Yeah, that was just such a shame, really. There was such good respect. In fact, I'm glad I didn't say it. I was about to say such good respect from both drivers, and then bang, they have a crash. And it is almost a carbon copy of the Ayrton Senna and Alain Prost crash. It's actually spooky how similar that was. As we see Steve Bycroft now going by in past Teemu Vaskilampi. So Teemu Vaskilampi obviously carrying some damage as well. And wow, look at that pace from Thomas Simon. 1 minute 49.263. I mean, he doesn't need to be pushing, but sometimes, Ozzy, sometimes the best way to keep your concentration and not make a mistake is actually just to keep pushing as normal.
Yeah, I think he's driving in a bit of a trance right now, as behind in the pictures, Alex Milward getting by Teemu Vaskilampi as well. We are watching Tamás though, and rightfully so, because Tamás Simon right now the fastest driver on the track, cruising for the championship, heading for the championship win. And what a performance out there at Suzuka. Everybody else battling behind him, but Tamás is the driver. Tamás is the driver who's really running away. Gernot, meanwhile, catching Teemu Vaskilampi too. Teemu's last lap, 152.2. Compare that to Gernot, 149.5. So Gernot, it should be a slam dunk for him, really, as soon as he gets the chance.
Yeah, so clearly somehow Gernot Fritz not taking as much damage as some of the others. Of course, no fault of his own. They all arrived at the Casio Triangle, and there was just a Lotus car park, and unfortunately there was a lot of impact. But yeah, I mean, like you say, Gernot Fritz is only 2/10 off the fastest lap of the race right now, so he's running hot pace. So almost no damage at all, it seems like, or if there is, it's not holding him back.
No, not at all, and I think he got a little bit lucky with the impact in that it came straight to the tires. He might have some disturbed camber angles or toe angles or something in the suspension. I don't think so. Whoa, I think Teemu was trying to lead the inside, and yeah, Teemu braked her. Teemu lifted off there for Gernot. He didn't want to battle it too much. I think they just got lost in communication where Teemu was trying to lead him the inside and Gernot went to the outside anyway, so almost coming together, but great respect between these two guys. And Teemu, he knows the situation. He knows he doesn't have to pace the match, and he knows he doesn't want to hold Gernot back, because Gernot still got people to catch. Mind you, we still got guys left, and we still have some guys further up the back as well, because in 17th place you got Keith Herner and Barry West, and they're gonna come very close into the Casio Triangle. Barry West, however, breaking early. Dylan Freckleton involved in that battle as well.
Yeah, great little gaggle up there as well. And someone we haven't spoken about yet is Alex Milward, of course, a multiple race winner here in the Lotus 79 series. And well, he's lapping underneath the 1 minute 50 barrier, 1 minute 49.998 last time around. So he's up to 4th spot. So he's made a really good, he's certainly profited from all that action at the Casio Triangle.
Yeah, he has. It allowed him to first catch up to the pack because of all the fighting, and then he was still enough away that he didn't get caught in the melee that everybody else got involved in. So it's gonna be very interesting. Ugolotti was 3/10 slower last time around than Steve Bycroft. And Bycroft right now 149.6 his last lap time. Let's see if he can keep that going, because he should have a car with a great straight line speed which could challenge Ugolotti in a different way than we saw everybody else challenging him. I think he might be a little bit surprised to see that yellow ATS machine actually matching the straight line speed of the Italian.
Certainly will, yeah. It's interesting. Gernot Fritsch just dropping a little bit off the pace again. 1 minute 50.7 there. I think that might have been as a result of that little action with Timo Vascalampi. But as we say that, Thomas Simon, champion-elect at this stage, 149.172. Well, do you think we'll maybe see a 148, Ozzy?
I think we will. I think we absolutely will. We still got 6 laps to go in this race. We still got time for the fuel to burn off, and if they manage to nail the lap time, get no traffic, 148 should be absolutely possible in these conditions. They did so in qualifying. In fact, they went 47s in qualifying. These days, you can't anymore match your qualifying lap times in race conditions, but 48.5, 48.6, absolutely doable. As you can see the weather there, 22 degrees Celsius, air temp, track temp 40 degrees Celsius. So that's like a high fever or a bad sauna.
Yeah, that's true. There's bad sauna is nobody wants that. But I tell you what, time for just a very brief fun fact for you, Ozzy. What do Lotus sports cars and this particular track have in common?
Nice curves.
That is one. That's another thing. Yes, that's true. Nice curve. It was Peter Warr who actually won the inaugural Grand Prix here at Suzuka, which was actually a sports car race at the time, in a Lotus 23. And actually, he was the Lotus Formula One team manager. But his only time he wasn't with the team was when he briefly went over to the Wolf Formula One team, and that unfortunately was when this incredible Lotus 79 came to the fore, and he might have maybe regretted that slightly, missing out on the 1978 season when this car was just so dominant at the hands of Mario Andretti and Ronnie Peterson.
Yeah, meanwhile for the back, Mike Racina's gonna get bound inside. Vascalampi still has damage. He was in the second place momentarily, but he picked up enough damage to fall slowly back. And meanwhile, second place, it's getting hotter and hotter. Ugolotti and Steve Bycroft are just throwing water on the stones. Milborg trying to follow them through. Milborg 149.2 last time around, so he's really flying. And look who's behind him, the Austrian 149.2 as well. I think the second place is gonna erupt into a massive battle once again between Ugolotti and Bycroft. Not necessarily as hard of a battle as between Rinne and Ugolotti, but it's still gonna be a good battle, and that means these two guys, Milborg and Fritsche, could still catch up, and we could have a four-way fight. And wouldn't that be quite something, Peter?
It certainly would, and it's a little bit of the last day of school syndrome, where if you get in trouble, you've got the whole of the holidays for them to forget about it. So I think we're going to see the gloves well and truly come off, and as we see her riding on board with Gernot Fritsch, he's clearly got a fast race car underneath him, and I think you're right, Ozzy, we're going to see a four-way battle for second spot, but I'd love to see the guy who can get past Matteo Ugolotti. He makes that car so wide.
Well, I think in this demographic it would be less last day of school and more like last of the summer wine.
Very good. No less badly behaved, though.
No, not at all. Not at all. I mean, these guys are still quite spriting, and that's Milborg around. That's Milborg around at the Spoon curve, and he just hit the AstroTurf. Single car incident. Rasima's gonna get through him as well. You're gonna see a replay as they come to the Spoon corner. So that's Milborg trying to catch up to the guys ahead, to Bycroft. He's turning to the inside. He got a little bit sideways and just hit the AstroTurf, and then on the curb, it's just around she went, and a little bit of a carousel ride for Milward here as he's side by side as we return to the pictures with Mike Rasimas gonna get by on the inside. Maybe Rasimas gonna battle it, but I think Milward's gonna pull it off. Yes, he is. Wow.
Yeah, what a pity for Alex Milward. He made a similar mistake a couple of laps ago and got away with it, but there's only so many times you can get away with running wide at the spoon curve. It's so fast, and like you say, that AstroTurf is horribly slippy. So this is a great battle here between Ugolotti and Bycroft, and well, this is just impossible to call right now. 5 laps to go of this race and of this Lotus 79 Grand Prix season, and what a season it has been. We have seen some absolutely cracking battles. Any particular battles that rival this one, Ozzy, that you can remember?
I think Oscar Rinne and Tamás Simon just last week at Motegi. That was an incredible battle. And I'm gonna mention once again Oscar because he was involved in that battle with Steve Bycroft for the lead at Summit Point. There's been a couple of others as well. Alex Milward has been involved in a couple of great ones. Teemu Vaskilampi as well. Guillermo Fritsche, of course. Off the top of my head, those ones were good. I think they had some good battles at Oulton Park as well. Meanwhile, behind them, look at this train that you see on the pictures. And as we see this train, Vaskilampi, Granberg, Seppa, and Konieczny, I think Granberg gonna make short work of the Finn, sadly, because of his damage. Gonna go down to the inside.
Yeah, it's a tricky one for Teemu Vaskilampi. We know how fast he is, but yeah, you can almost see him there, Ozzy, just not making himself too much of a problem, just wanting to get that car to the end and not spoil any others' races. And I think that's one of the key kernels of this particular series, I think, Ozzy, is the respect between drivers is incredible, but the skill level is just off the charts.
It is, and just as you were talking about that Peter Konieczny went by Teemu Vaskilampi on the inside at 130R. Meanwhile, Severi Seppa trying to get a chance on Martin Granberg. Finland versus Sweden. The athletics battle is has just been concluded. Let's see the battle out there on the racetrack. Seppa, round the outside he comes.
Here we go then, side by side down into turn 1. Seppa goes around. No way! No way! No way! Get out of town!
Yes, way!
Way! around the outside from Severi Seppa. Well, you can't see this, viewers, but I am taking my cap and doffing it. Severi Seppa, what a move!
Shades of Kimi Räikkönen 2005.
Yeah.
Past Giancarlo Fisichella. And I mean, you can go around the outside in turn number 1. You can actually break a little bit later there, but you're gonna have to have a lot of trust to your fellow driver so he doesn't run you wide. Meanwhile, second place once again heating up. Ugolotti, Bycroft, Fritsche, all those guys coming closer and closer. And earlier on, you were asking me about do you think these guys can go 148s? Well, not last time around, but the previous lap. Tamás Simon, 148.9. So there you go.
You knew it was going to be him, and of course, a 149.0 the last time around. So he is flying, and to qualify on pole and just drive away from an incredibly deep field full of amazing drivers is just extraordinary. You have guys like Dylan Freckleton in 20th, lapping at 1 minute 50.6. That's how deep the field actually is. So for him to clear off and lead this race by nearly 20 seconds, especially with a championship to worry about, I'm in awe of Tamás Simon's performance today. Fantastic stuff.
It's fantastic and absolutely deserving. He's been consistently the fastest driver this season. Now he's made a couple of mistakes and he's had a few battles. He's been challenged for his throne. But if you look at the overall, once you look at this season back, you're gonna see Tamás being the fastest driver consistently and always up there near the front. So he started the season with a bang, and early on, I think everyone was a little bit shell-shocked by how fast Tamás really was going. So it's been a great season for a Hungarian driver. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch him drive because he's really bringing things to the next level. I just hope he's not gonna be, it's not gonna be a fleeting visit like we've seen a couple of times. We've seen guys like Joni Takanen a couple of seasons back. Actually, 2017, wow. And we've seen Aleksi Elomaa more recently, who have paid fleeting visits to this series. Took one championship, then basically ran away to do other things, conquer the next guys and, do the next thing, do their thing somewhere else. I just hope he's gonna be a recurring visitor here at the Lotus 79 series, and I hope you'll see more of Matteo Ugolotti as well, because in his debut he's had some great racing, one unfortunate contact, but so far he's holding the likes of Bycroft and Fritsch back. I think next season, if we're gonna have a lead battle between Tamás Simon and Oscar de Linne and Matteo Ugolotti and Gernot Fritsch and all those guys involved in the mix, who knows what could happen. I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, me too, absolutely. It's a tantalising prospect. And I tell you what, Tamás Simon, that four-leaf clover, the quadrifolio, must be bringing him some good fortune and good luck today, but there's absolutely no luck involved with his driving prowess around the Suzuka circuit today. 2 laps to go then, just a couple of miles to go. And you'll see, as we see Bycroft, he's going around the outside. Is he going to go around the outside? And oh, this is another Prost and Senna one here. And they don't make contact. Ugolotti defends, and another example of looked like Ugolotti was going to lose a place, and then all of a sudden, wham, he shuts the door.
What is this battle for the second place? What is this? I mean, the second place, it's all the time under conquest. 1979 at Dijon, it was under conquest as well, between Didier Pironi and Gilles Villeneuve. Now it's Matteo Ugolotti, Steve Bycroft, Gernot Fritsch involved in that one as well. And I think Gernot now is timing his chances. He's wondering, is Steve gonna catch up to Matteo one more time, or should I put the challenge to Steve Bycroft? Because I think Gernot is now biding his time. He's waiting. He's looking for his chance, but he knows when to attack, and he knows that he shouldn't leave it up to the last chance. He should start it ideally before the last lap, but I think he's gonna give Steve a chance here. A couple of more corners to catch up to Matteo, then potentially sweep both of those positions in one clean move.
Well, we'll need to wait and see then. As we're heading, we'll be taking the white flag shortly. Tamás Simon. Tamás coming through the Casio triangle for the penultimate time then, and he will take the white flag for the final time in this series, in the Lotus 79 Grand Prix series. Just 1 lap separates Tamás Simon from the championship trophy. An incredible drive now, up to over 20 seconds gap. And just 1 more circuit left to go as we go back to the Casio Triangle. This battle for second place rumbles on, but will Bycroft or Fritsch have anything to say for the Italian Matteo Ugolotti?
Well, Steve was very close into the Casio Triangle. They almost came together there, and Steve decided to back out at the final moment and not gonna have chance here through the SS, but he's gonna have a chance to the back straight. And I think it's gonna come down to the last corner. It's just gonna come down to the wire, and I just hope they're far enough back that we can give our championship leader and Tamás Simon his due respects, as he's gonna cruise to the race win. But what a battle this has been, and if Ugolotti holds on to the second place, I'll tell you, it's one of the finest defensive drives. You can talk about the contact all day long, but aside from that, it's been one of the finest defensive drives I've seen in the last couple of seasons at least.
Yeah, absolutely, and it takes 2 to tango. I guess you can't put 100% of the blame for almost any racing incident sometimes, you know. So we go back to Tamás Simon, who is coming around Spoon Curb for the final time. A little bit of stylish oversteer coming out of Spoon Curb. Over he goes then towards 130R. The Alfa Romeo driver coming around for the final time then, and it has been a flawless drive from pole position, a champion's drive, and he has plenty of room behind him round the Casio Triangle for the final time. And here is your champion then in the Lotus 79 Grand Prix Series. Tamás Simon wins the Lotus 79 Grand Prix Series here at Suzuka, and look at that in true style, a 1:48.433, fastest lap of the race on the final circuit round. We go back to the Casio Triangle. Ugolotti still defending from Bycroft. He holds him off. Can he hold him to the line? I think he will be able to. Bycroft has to back off. He's maybe got a slowdown penalty, and that allows Gernot Fritsch to go by. What's happened? Run out of fuel, maybe?
No, I think he let Gernot Fritsch go by to the podium. I think he was thanking Gernot for the chance to allowing him to battle and let Gernot to have the podium. And we got Juan Costa as well side by side coming into the last corner. Michael De Turk and Juan Costa battling for the position. Juan Costa did the overtake. De Turk gonna be late on the brakes in that Aurora Formula 1 car. He's gonna be potentially too late. Is Juan Costa gonna have to run onto the start-finish line? I don't think it's enough. It's gonna be close. De Turk takes it from Costa. what a battle to the line, and behind them as well, no more great battles, sadly. So that's gonna be Barry West potentially, but I don't think that's for position. And Dylan Freckleton went to the wall at the last corner as well, and Dixon spun too. And Blackadder spun as well. Blackadder spun on the 130R on the last lap, and he's gonna lose a couple of positions, so that's gonna be a lot of happening.
So, what a race that was. Incredible action down the field, but for Thomas Simon, a flawless drive to the championship. We're going to take a very brief break here on the Global SimRacing Channel. We'll be right back with official results and some driver interviews. Don't go away. Welcome back to Suzuka, where we have just witnessed a thrilling season finale won by Thomas Simon at the wheel of his Alfa Romeo machine. So let's see how the race results look then. Thomas Simon winning by 21.2 seconds from Matteo Ugolotti. Gernot Fritsch taking the last spot on the podium, kindly allowed by Steve Bycroft. A wonderful show of sportsmanship. Alex Millward finished in 5th with Mike Rasmussen 6th. Severi Seppa was 7th after that incredible move around the outside at turn 1. Peter Kolneski was 8th, Martin Granberg 9th, and Teemu Vaskalampi finished in 10th after incurring damage at the Casio Triangle in that particular incident. In 11th place was Polly Kalevi-Partanen with Michael de Turk in 12th, Juan Costa 13th, Derek Rolleville 14th, Andrew Dixon was 15th, and Barry West 16th. Dylan Freckleton, Keith Herner, Carl Villeneuve and Cristio Coriani round out the top 20. And the final remaining runners, Steve Sarlis, Edmund Blackadder, Pablo Suarez, Robert Simpkins, Thomas Dilmuth, John Van Dorn, David Brandberg, Eitu Varanakangas, Tony Teolis, Oskari Rinna, and finally, our last few runners are in 31st place, Freak Tenkate, Vimal Anderhamanan, Dimitri Bobilev, Paul Williams, and finally, Timothy Reed. Now, Ossian, you're waiting in the interview room. Who do we have to come to speak to us?
Well, first of all, we are going to talk to Gernot Fritsch. Gernot, it was a championship fight out here for you today, and it was a fight all race long. Ended up on the podium. I think Steve let you have that one, but what a race for you. And certainly not quite the championship, not another one to your records, but a race to remember, right?
Yeah, definitely. First of all, a huge congrats to Thomas for the championship. He did really well all season long. So actually, yeah, I think he was the best pace-wise overall. So he fully deserves that one. Yeah, huge congrats. Yeah, that last round was a real nail-biter because, yeah, Matteo really added to the mix. It was quite a hectic race. And, yeah, unfortunately, there was a crash as well. Luckily, I didn't get too much damage. So I was still able to to do good laps afterwards. And yeah, in the end, I have to say thanks to Steve as well for letting me by there.
Yeah, great sportsmanship on display. You had a front row seat to the contact between Matteo Ugolotti and Oskari Linde. Now, I know we don't like blaming drivers here, but what do you think happened there from your perspective?
To be honest, I was just waiting for it because I could follow that battle for some laps, and it was always really close. And yeah, they were changing lines several times. So especially in the braking zone, that really makes it complicated. And wasn't surprised about the contacts. On the other hand, the bad thing was that we had quite some lag in that race. So Oskari was jumping around, and I couldn't avoid him.
Yeah, sad to see that happen, but still a good fighting race for you and a good season as well. Are you gonna come back next season? Of course you are, Gernot, right?
Of course I am, yeah. See you then.
Yeah, thank you, Gernot. And if there's anyone you would like to thank, then feel free to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, finishing P number 3 at Suzuka and P number 2 in the championship, Gernot Fritzsche.
Yeah, first of all, I want to thank you guys for doing great broadcasts. I'm looking forward to having that again next season. On the other hand, I really have to say thanks to all the people that do a lot of admin stuff in this series. It's sometimes unnoticed, but it's quite some work to do in the background. And yeah, thanks to everyone, and of course to everyone participating for making this a great series to run. See you guys. Bye bye.
Thank you, and bye-bye, Gernot Fritzsche. And next up, we are going to have Peter McKay, who's going to be talking to a man who had a fight up until the last lap and ended up in 16th position.
Barry West, welcome to the GSRC commentary box. How was that run for you out there today at Suzuka? Barry, do you have a copy? We're just having a little technical issue right now, folks, with Barry's microphone, but we will try to get hold of Oskari Rinna, who I believe is in the waiting room. Here he is. Oskari Rinna, well, what an exciting race that was. Tell us about it from your driver's seat.
Oh yeah, I had a really poor start. I had a bad start at Motegi, and I tried a bit different here, but I slipped the clutch too early and a bad start. Then I just tried to fight back, and yeah, I had some great battles. I don't agree with his defending. At all points, he moved a lot under braking, and that was what eventually cost me the race, because he moved under braking again. But otherwise, it was a fun battle, and it's just a shame to end the season like this.
Yeah, it certainly was. It was certainly exciting from our perspective, if we were being selfish here in the commentary box, to watch it, the battle between you and Matteo. It's interesting to hear your perspective on it. Do you think, if you've been able to get past Matteo, do you think you had the pace to make it up towards Tomas and challenge for the win?
Yeah, if I got past him like right away, then yeah, maybe I had good pace, but I lost so much time behind him since he just didn't move anywhere. And yeah, if I got past him right away, maybe I could have cast Tomas, but he was really fast. So good job on him, and congratulations to Tomas anyways.
So my colleague Ozzy tells me that you are a student as well over in Finland. What is it that you're studying? Is it oversphere race driving or something more academical?
Yeah, it's basically automotive engineering. So yeah, the dream is become, well, like the race engineer would be the best stuff to get out of that, but something to do with cars and engineering.
Okay, Roger Penske, if you're listening, Oskari Rinna, give him a call and give him a job.
Yeah, that would be great.
That would be cool. Well, Oskari, thanks so much for coming up to chat to us in the GSRC commentary box. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Shout out to you guys. I mean, the broadcast has been fantastic all year, and I mean all season, that I found this series through your your channel, and then I just joined, and it has been really fun. And I love this car and your broadcast and everything that you do. So just keep it up. It's great.
Well, that's incredibly kind, Oskari, and we'll be making sure when Roger Penske does phone me tomorrow, I'll tell him to give you a call.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. See you soon.
You too.
So that's about all we have time for here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Unfortunately, that's us done for the Lotus 79 Grand Prix Series for this season, but we are delighted to say we will be back next season for more of the action with amazing world-class drivers and this incredible historic Formula One car. Now, before we sign off, if you're looking to take advantage of the Global Sim Racing Channel's over 1 million global monthly impressions, we have official series sponsorships, commercial placements, and advertising options available, which you can customize to suit your company's needs. And you can follow the link in the description to learn more all about that. Thanks so much also to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcasts, which are all listed here on your screen. And a big thanks goes to June Lalonde, who provides all of our wonderful music, and you can see on the screen of how to get a hold of more of her brilliant work on her bandcamp.com page. Thanks as always to the wonderful Ossian, Sean and Dougie for all their help during today's broadcast. And if you'd like to find out more about us at the Global Sim Racing Channel, including our upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. We also have the obligatory social media accounts. We have Twitter at GSRC Channel, and Facebook, Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram at GSRC Gram. And you can also represent the GSRC team by getting hold of some of our merchandise at gsrcstorenvy.com. Don't forget to head over to our YouTube page and hit that big red subscribe button as well, so that you never miss a moment here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we will see you on the track.